Hey there, this is Malorian, and this will be another Warcaster review, and today we're talking about Lylyth. Lylyth, the Herald of Everblight, and we're going to be talking about her stats, her rules, some of the units you should probably take with her, and the tricks and tips. Now, Lylyth is the starter box caster for Legion. She does very well in the starter box versus starter box battles, but then after that, a lot of experienced players really kind of lean away from her and leave her kind of on the shelf. And so we're going to be talking about that, but before we do, let's get into those stats. So she has movement 7, which is great. She has strength 4, mat 5, which really don't come up. Rat 7, so pretty decent to shoot. She has defense 16, armor 14, command 8. Another nice thing is that since she is a ranged caster, she has eyeless sight. So that is really nice to get past stealth, to see through clouds, to see through forests. So really nice to have that on a caster. She also has Pathfinder, so she can get wherever she needs. Her bow is going to be a range 12, POW 12, and is going to be rate of fire 2. So a fairly decent gun on her there. Now, interestingly, one of the worst things about her is her Fury 5. And I put this in combination of her bow because it's not often that you have a range that goes farther than your control area. But we are having that here. Usually being able to guesstimate those 2 inches at the end isn't too tough, but it is an interesting thing you got to keep in mind with Lylyth here, where if you want to be exactly 12 away, you're going to have to risk that one. She does have a bow blade, so she does have some melee ability, but it's only P plus S7. And again, if Lylyth is attacking in melee, something probably went really, really wrong. So know that she has it, but it almost never comes up. 15 health. Now, the first rule on her card is Bushwhack, and this one's kind of interesting. Normally, you have to move first, and then you take your action. For her, she can do it the other way around. So you can shoot, or you can do a melee attack, and then you can move after. Now, this is usually a lot more corner case, but there are some times when you want to use this. For one, if you're right up there and you can shoot from where you are, you shoot, and then you can maybe be moving back into the forest so that the opponent can't see you. Or maybe you're moving back and behind your models, again, to hide. So a very nice thing there too, but it can almost be used offensively as well. Let's say you're pushing on scenario and they're just trying to block you to make sure you can't get there. Well, shoot the models out of the way that are blocking you and then move to the flag or whatever to dominate. So again, very corner case, but something to really keep in mind as an option. Now, there's some rules on her bow as well, and they're fairly nice. The first one there is going to be Blood Lure. So whenever you shoot an enemy model, that one can now be charged by models in your battle group for free. So they don't need to be forced. And that's good for 2 reasons. One, it lets you really control that Fury. Again, Fury 5 means you're going to have some real Fury issues. However, all of a sudden now they're charging for free. As well, it's going to increase the damage output of your beast, because if that Carnivian can charge for free, well, then all of a sudden that's one more attack you can buy. So that's something to keep in mind, that extra damage output that she is giving you. She also has Witch Mark. Now again, what that means is that when you shoot an enemy model, you can now cast spells against that model, which automatically hit, and the range doesn't matter anymore. So that again is really, really nice. Now what that really means is that other spells that she normally has that could be whatever range lower, now basically they're range 10. Plus, remember, you could be shooting something and then moving back away and you still have range to that model. So something that can be very, very nice to extend that range of her spells. Now, with that in mind, what are her spells? The first one is Bad Blood. It's cost 2, range 10, and it's an offensive upkeep. And what this does is that a Warlock leeching from this War Beast suffers 1 damage point for each Fury leeched. So that can be really nice, where if you're really bringing down, or if they have a real main beast that they're using, you get that Bad Blood on them, and it's something that's a real attrition thing to the other side. You know, really, either they can be not using that beast, you know, not putting any fury on it, and then, hey, whatever, you're happy with that. Or whenever they're pulling that off, that's this little pex that's going away against their caster. And you know, sometimes that, you know, 3-5 damage can be the difference for the caster kill later. So that can be really nice. There's also this as well. The effective War Beast cannot be healed or have damage transferred to it and loses regenerate. Now that is a really big one that, again, it seems like a lot of people don't take advantage of this. Again, if they're down to something where there's, let's say there's multiple beasts, and you go in and you leave it on a couple of boxes. Normally, against beasts, that means you wasted your time. You went in there, did all this damage, and basically on their turn, they're just going to heal up the lost aspects, and it's like you did no damage to that beast at all. Well, if you get to that point, Lylyth can go in there, shoot it. If that doesn't kill it, hit it with the bad blood, and all of a sudden, they can't heal up those lost aspects. That can be a game changer right there. As well, if the attrition is going on and you're about to make a play on their caster, but you know, oh man, they're going to probably just go and transfer all this damage. Well, cast this on the transfer target, and all of a sudden that Warcaster has nothing, or that Warlock has nothing to transfer anymore. You know, you could have 7 transfers, but if there's nobody you can transfer to, that Warlock's in a lot of trouble. So again, a very, very nice thing to have. The whole regenerate thing, a lot more situational, but hey, sometimes that comes up too. If you're up against trolls or maybe against warp wolves, you know, it's a little extra thing, you can have that too. And again, you need it because if you're not letting it being healed via the Warcaster, you don't want regenerating back those aspects after. So again, a nice thing to keep in mind. And of course, against War Machine, it does nothing. Against Hordes, it can be a very big deal. Next spell, Parasite. And this is great. You know, sometimes in Legion, you have some real issues trying to punch that armor. And you know what really helps? Minusing it by 3. That's a pretty nice thing to do. Especially, let's say you're going up against a Storm Wall that has Arcane Shield onto it. Well, first of all, you're going to Parasite that Storm Wall to basically negate that +3 armor anyway, and then you're going to be putting from the Naga the blessed attacks on whatever is going to attack it, and all of a sudden now it's basically down 6 armor because you're ignoring the Arcane Shield and then you're minusing 3 armor as well. So this really makes Lylyth a very, very great choice to use against things like Colossals. We already said where she can get a lot more work out of her beast. So she can go up there, she can shoot the Colossal, she can put Parasite on it for basically free. I mean, she has to pay the cost, but you automatically hit it. Then all of a sudden, you know, your Carnivian or whatever can charge it for free. So you have an extra attack there, and it's at basically -6 defense if it is going off the Arcane Shield as well. I mean, like, it's a very great option that a lot of Legion players don't really look at. I mean, for the most part, if they're trying to deal with that the armor, they're trying to deal with Argelius, and maybe I'm going to do this with Veil 2, but nobody really looks at Lylyth 1 as being their armor cracker, and yet here she is with Parasite. So, pretty nice thing to have. Thing number 3 on her list, Eruption of Spines. Now, Eruption of Spines is range 10, it is cost 3, and it's going to be POW 10. And really what that does here is you hit your initial target, and then after that, the D6 nearest models within 5 inches are also taking a POW 10. And of course, this is a great infantry clearer. There is a little bit of randomness there where you could roll 6 or you could also roll 1. So there is that randomness. But again, if you're really worried about a lot of infantry that's around, you can shoot a model in the middle and then explode and hit a lot of other guys. Do remember that this is not ashes to ashes. This is hitting the closest models, friendly or foe. So you do have to worry about this hurting your own guys as well. But with that, I sometimes use this against high defense skew. If I have some Kayazi Eliminators coming in, or some Kayazi, or whatever, I can run a model into the middle of that, shoot that model, and then sure, like let's say it's a heavy, let's say it's a Carnivian with Eruption of Spines. I'll be at dice -10 to hurt my own model, and yet when it goes and it erupts, it's just killing off all these Kayazi all around it. D6 of them are just basically taken off. And that's a really nice thing to do. So, you know, a nice tool to have as well. And when we're talking about this anti-colossal thing, if you hit a colossal, all of a sudden where you might have Thor behind, you might have some mechanics hiding behind, or a vassal from Menoth that's going to be giving it an auxiliary attack. This here can be going in to explode and kill off those support models. A very nice thing to do there. So again, just keep that one in mind. Now, she is only Fury 5, so when you're starting to look at all these spells, and, you know, Bad Blood is 2, the other 2 or 3, you know, like, you only go so far. So, Fury is really going to be limiting how these spells are, but still, very nice ones to keep in mind. And now that we're talking about the 2015 objectives, for the 2 upkeeps, Parasite and Bad Blood, you know, that could help there where you're casting it for 1 less. But either way, good things to keep in mind. Now, finally, we get to her feet. Now, the feet is limited where it only goes out 10 inches. However, what it is while in Lylyth's control area, friendly faction models roll an additional die on attack rolls this turn. And that additional is a big deal. So really, this opens up a couple of options. If you want to be going for the assassination, you can be popping this feat. And sure, you're not like Lylyth 2 where you're getting that super long range. However, you are now really going to have a great chance to hit, because you can be rolling 4 dice to hit, right? You got your 2, you can boost, and then this one's additional. So really do make sure you keep that in mind. As well, if you are going for the assassination, she can go in there first, popping feet, so that she's hitting easier. As soon as she hits, you hit that thing with Parasite, you can buy a second shot against it, and now everything else going after it is just really able to go and boost and hit. And in fact, one of the things that I like to play Lylyth 2 with was with a spray assassination. Now, for a lot of times, people don't really worry about the sprays because you're dealing with low rats. You know, we're looking at the Carnivian, we're looking at the Typhon. However, when you can be rolling 4 dice to hit, you know, Epic Cain is getting worried about being hit, right? In fact, I assassinate Epic Cain by doing that. Just charging in Typhon, he gets Gunfighter with his sprays, and with the feat, you boost those to hits, and he will fry a lot of Warcasters or Warlocks, you know, by doing the sprays. So that can definitely be a build for going for the spray assassination. You can be doing this Ravagors too, if you want to be going for a more ranged type of thing. As well, remember that this is just on attack rolls. A lot of people will say like, hey, you know, I want to do this for range. I'll take Raptors and I'll get extra dice to hit with them, and they're going to be awesome for this turn. However, this could be melee as well. There's no reason why you could not be doing this on swordsmen. And when your swordsmen charge in, they're getting 3 dice to hit. And then, of course, their weapon master charging. And, you know, that's another big thing to keep in mind, is that whether you do melee or ranged, it's all going to be part of the same package. Now, of course, range probably will be the better way to go. But hell, you know, it's a really good reason to keep this in mind. And again, if you are trying to take down that Colossal and you're going to be charging in that Carnivian, well, you never know when you're going to be rolling that double 1s and miss a freaking Colossal, which could be the difference between it living or dying. So all of a sudden then again, you're going to go up, pop feet, shoot that Colossal with 3 dice, put on Parasite, Carnivian charges for free, gets a spray, gets to buy all those attacks with 3 dice to hit. Sorry. And is going to do awesome work. So there you go. I mean, Lylyth 2 usually is the one taken above her, because all of a sudden she has more defensive tech. But I do believe that Lylyth 1 has a very strong game. You just have to take her for her strengths. And either way, there's our Warcaster review, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.